Blood pooled beneath Jack Harmon as he lay in the dark alley on Mars Colony. The red liquid spread across the cracked concrete, mixing with the rust-colored dust that covered everything on this planet. His vision blurred. This was supposed to be a simple smuggling job. Now 3 men were dead, and he would be next. Should have known better, Jack muttered, pressing his hand against the knife wound in his side. The pain burned like fire. Footsteps echoed in the narrow passage. Jack tried to reach for his gun, but his arm felt too heavy. The figure that appeared wasn't human. It stood 7 feet tall with skin that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Through its translucent flesh, Jack could see organs pulsing and shifting. "What the hell are you?" Jack whispered. The creature didn't answer. Instead, it moved toward the bodies of Jack's attackers. With shocking speed, it bent down and began to feed. Jack watched in horror as it tore flesh from one of the dead men, consuming it with methodical precision. Jack tried to crawl away, but the movement sent fresh pain shooting through his body. The creature's head snapped toward him, eyes glowing with an eerie yellow light. "Be still, human," it said, its voice like gravel. "I mean you no harm." "Could have fooled me," Jack said, coughing blood. The creature approached, kneeling beside him. From somewhere in its strange clothing, it produced a small device that hummed with energy. "This will hurt," it warned before pressing the device against Jack's wound. Jack screamed as heat seared his flesh, but the pain quickly faded. Looking down, he saw the wound closing. "What are you?" Jack asked again. "I am Vorkith. My name is Krev." The creature wiped blood from its mouth. "I have lived on your Mars for 40 years. Jack struggled to sit up. "Eating people?" "Only those who deserve it. Killers. Criminals." Krev gestured to the bodies. "Like these men who tried to end your life. Why save me?" "You were not meant to see me feed. Now you have. We are connected by this knowledge." Jack stood shakily. "There are rumors about disappearances. People vanishing from the lower levels. I must consume organic matter daily to survive," Krev said simply. "My species is nearly extinct. I do what I must." "The authorities are noticing the pattern," Jack warned. "They're not stupid. No government has caught me in 4 decades, Krev said. "I am careful." Jack studied the alien. Despite its terrifying appearance and what he'd just witnessed, he felt no fear. Maybe it was the blood loss or the shock, but something told him Krev wasn't his enemy. "I should go," Jack said. "And you should find a new hunting ground." Krev nodded. "Perhaps. But Mars is home now." They parted ways at the end of the alley. Jack made his way back to his small apartment in the workers' district, his mind racing. An alien living on Mars, feeding on criminals for decades. It seemed impossible. Jack unlocked his door and froze. The apartment was trashed. Furniture overturned, walls smashed open, floor panels pulled up. Someone had been searching for something. In the center of the room, a small device blinked with a steady red light. Jack recognized it immediately from his military days, a high-grade tracking beacon. He backed toward the door. Someone knew about Krev. Someone was hunting them both. And they had found Jack first. Jack grabbed the few essentials he could fit in his bag and ran. The tracking device meant someone was coming, and soon. The night air of Mars Colony hit his face as he ducked into the shadows between buildings. He needed to find Krev. 3 blocks later, Jack felt a presence behind him. He spun around, ready to fight, but it was the alien. "You're being followed," Krev said, his translucent skin glowing faintly in the darkness. "My apartment was searched. They left a military tracker." Jack showed him the device he'd taken. "We need to move." They slipped through the back streets of the colony, avoiding the security cameras. Jack led them to an abandoned maintenance tunnel he'd used for smuggling runs. "Who hunts us?" Krev asked as they moved through the dim tunnel. "Not sure, but I have a guess." Jack's face hardened. 5 years ago, I was a military strategist for Earth's defense forces. There was a mission on Europa. Something went wrong. A civilian outpost was destroyed. Hundreds died. You were responsible? I was blamed. But I didn't give that order. Jack's fists clenched. Colonel Reeves did. He needed a scapegoat, so he chose me. I was court-martialed, dishonorably discharged. Ended up here, running smuggling jobs to survive. A distant sound of boots on metal made them freeze. Soldiers were in the tunnels. This way, Jack whispered, leading Krev through a narrow side passage. They emerged near the edge of the colony, where the dome met the Martian surface. A small maintenance door led outside. We need suits, Krev said. No time. Jack pointed to a transport depot nearby. We need to get off Mars. They sprinted across open ground. Alarms began to sound behind them. They'd been spotted. Inside the depot, Jack quickly hotwired a small cargo shuttle. Can you fly this thing? Better than you, Krev replied, taking the controls. The shuttle roared to life as armed soldiers burst into the depot. Bullets pinged off the hull as Krev guided the ship out of the hangar and into the Martian sky. Where do we go? Krev asked. There's a research facility in orbit around Phobos. I've heard rumors about it. Secret government experiments? Jack checked the ship's systems. If someone's hunting you, that's where they'd take you. The shuttle shook as defense cannons from the colony fired at them. Krev's hands moved with incredible speed across the controls, evading the shots. Why would humans hunt my kind? Krev asked. Your biology. The way you heal. The way you consume. Jack watched as Mars grew smaller behind them. Humans weaponize everything they can. Hours later, they approached Phobos. The small moon orbited Mars silently. On its dark side, barely visible, was a station with no markings or lights. There, Jack pointed. No official station exists here. They docked at an unused maintenance port. Jack cut the power to avoid detection. They moved through the airlock into the station. The corridors were sterile and white. They followed signs for Research Wing, moving carefully to avoid security cameras. Through a window in a locked door, Jack saw something that made his blood run cold. Aliens like Krev, strapped to tables. Scientists in white coats cutting into them. And supervising it all was a face Jack knew too well. Reeves, he whispered. The colonel turned, as if sensing Jack's presence. Their eyes met through the glass. Run, Jack yelled, but it was too late. Gas poured from vents in the ceiling. Jack felt his legs give way as he collapsed. The last thing he saw was Krev fighting against the gas, reaching for him as armed guards surrounded them both. Jack woke up strapped to a cold metal table. His head pounded. The bright lights above made him squint. He tried to move, but thick restraints held his arms and legs. Finally awake, Harmon. Colonel Reeves stepped into view. His gray hair was cut short, his uniform perfect. Just like Jack remembered. Where's Krev? Jack's voice was rough. Your alien friend? Being studied. Reeves checked something on a tablet. Fascinating creature. Not the first we've captured, but certainly the most talkative. Jack pulled against his restraints. Let him go. Not happening. Reeves put down the tablet and leaned closer. You've changed, Harmon. Your blood work shows it. The alien did something to you. Jack remembered Krev healing his wound in the alley. What are you talking about? Your cells are changing. Becoming like theirs. Reeves smiled. Which makes you valuable to us. A doctor approached with a needle. Jack struggled as she injected him with something that burned through his veins. What did you do to me? Jack gasped. Accelerant. To speed up your transformation. Reeves watched with cold eyes. We need to understand how their biology works. Pain shot through Jack's body. His muscles spasmed. He could feel something changing inside him, spreading from his core to his limbs. Why? Jack managed to ask through gritted teeth. War is coming, Harmon. Not with Mars rebels or Belt separatists. Something bigger. Reeves looked toward the window where space was visible. The Vorkith aren't just refugees. They're running from something. Something that's now heading toward our solar system. The pain subsided slightly. Jack could feel new strength flowing through him. His senses sharpened. He could hear conversations in other rooms, smell the fear on the doctor standing nearby. The Meridian Empire, Jack said, the knowledge somehow in his mind. Krev told you? Under persuasion. Reeves nodded. They've destroyed thousands of worlds. And Earth is next. An alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed in the corridor. Sir? A soldier burst into the room. The other specimens have escaped. They're freeing the Vorkith in Lab 3. Reeves cursed and ran out. The doctor followed, leaving Jack alone. He strained against his restraints. With his new strength, the metal began to bend. A crash came from the hallway. Screams followed. Jack broke free just as the door slid open. Krev stood there, covered in blood that wasn't his own. Jack! Krev's eyes widened. You've changed. You're doing, apparently. Jack felt the strange hunger growing inside him. We need to get out of here. They ran through corridors filled with chaos. Other Vorkith were fighting guards, some feeding on the fallen. Jack felt a disturbing urge to join them. There are more of you, Jack said as they reached a hangar bay. A small colony in the asteroid belt. Krev helped Jack into a military shuttle. We must reach them. Warn them. As they escaped the station, Jack saw other ships leaving too. Vorkith survivors, heading for safety. The Meridians, Jack said. Reeves told me they're coming. Yes, they hunt us across the stars. Krev piloted the ship away from Phobos. They fear what we can become. What you are becoming. Jack looked at his hands. His skin was starting to show the faint translucency of Krev's people. He could see the outline of bones, the movement of blood. What am I becoming? Something new. Neither human nor Vorkith. Krev set course for the asteroid belt. You may be the key to stopping them. 3 days passed as they traveled. Jack's transformation continued. His strength grew. His senses sharpened. But so did the hunger. They reached the hidden Vorkith settlement inside a hollowed-out asteroid. Dozens of the aliens lived there, surviving in secret for decades. Jack stepped from the ship, facing the gathered Vorkith. They stared at him with curious yellow eyes. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since escaping the station. One of the younger Vorkith stepped too close. Jack lunged forward before he could stop himself, his new instincts taking over. Only Krev's strong grip held him back. He needs to feed, Krev told the others. Or he will soon feed on us. The Vorkith elders brought Jack to a small chamber deep in the asteroid. His hands shook with hunger. His new teeth ached in his mouth. They gave him synthetic protein blocks that the Vorkith used when fresh food wasn't available. It will help, but not satisfy, Krev explained as Jack devoured the tasteless blocks. Your body is caught between two forms. Jack wiped his mouth. The edge of his hunger dulled, but didn't disappear. I need to control this if I'm going to help. An older Vorkith named Rev approached. The human part of you fights the change. This causes pain. This causes hunger. Can you fix me? Jack asked. No fixing, only accepting. Mrave placed a hand on Jack's chest. The Meridians come. We need what you are becoming. Jack spent 3 days learning to control his new body. The hunger remained, but he managed it. His strength and senses grew sharper. He could see in darkness, hear conversations through walls, and move faster than any human. On the 4th day, alarms rang through the asteroid colony. A ship approached. Military vessel, said a Vorkith at the scanner. Earth forces. Jack looked at the screen. That's Reeves. He tracked us here. We must flee, one of the elders said. No. Jack stood up. I'll talk to them. Convince them we need to work together against the Meridians. Krev grabbed his arm. They will capture you. Study you. Maybe. But Earth needs to know what's coming. Jack pulled away. Trust me. Jack took a small ship and met the military vessel halfway. They allowed him to dock. Soldiers with guns escorted him to the bridge where Colonel Reeves waited. Harmon. Reeves looked him over. Your transformation has progressed. I'm still me where it counts. Jack kept his hands visible. We need to talk about the Meridians. Yes, we do. Reeves dismissed the guards. When they were alone, he showed Jack a star chart. Their fleet was detected crossing the Kuiper Belt yesterday. They'll reach Earth in 2 weeks. Jack felt cold fear. Then you know we need to prepare. The Vorkith can help. That's not the plan. Reeves turned off the display. Earth has been in contact with the Meridians for years. Jack stared in shock. What? They contacted us after we captured the first Vorkith. Offered us a deal. Reeves' face showed no emotion. They want the Vorkith, all of them. In exchange, they'll spare Earth. You're going to hand over an entire species? Jack couldn't believe what he was hearing. And certain human populations they find useful. Mars colonies, belt settlements. Reeves shrugged. Sacrifices for the greater good. You're talking about billions of people. I'm talking about saving Earth. Reeves pulled out a gun. Now, you're going to tell me where the rest of the Vorkith are hiding. Jack felt rage build inside him. His vision sharpened. His muscles tensed. Never. You were always too soft, Harmon. That's why you took the fall for Europa so easily. Reeves aimed the gun at Jack's head. Last chance. Jack moved faster than human eyes could follow. He knocked the gun away and pinned Reeves to the wall. His new strength made it easy. You murdered those colonists on Europa. You framed me. And now you're selling out humanity. Jack felt his control slipping. The hunger rose. Alarms blared. A voice came over the speakers. Unidentified fleet detected. Multiple ships entering the solar system. Reeves' eyes widened. They're early. The Meridians aren't supposed to be here yet. Jack released him and ran to the view screen. What he saw made his blood freeze. Hundreds of ships, like black stars against space, were moving toward them. They're heading for Earth, Jack whispered. Reeves grabbed a communicator. This is Colonel Reeves. We had a deal. The only response was a bright flash as energy weapons fired from the Meridian ships. The military vessel shook violently. They never planned to honor the deal, Jack realized. You gave them what they wanted, and now they're taking everything else. The ship rocked again as more weapons hit it. Reeves fell, hitting his head on a console. Jack could escape in his small ship, return to warn the Vorkith. Instead, he grabbed the unconscious colonel and dragged him toward the escape pods. The hunger inside him screamed for satisfaction, but Jack fought it down. I'm not like you, he told the unconscious man. I don't sacrifice others to save myself. As they reached the pods, a massive explosion tore through the ship. Jack was thrown against a wall, Reeves still in his grip. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was the hull breaking open, the cold vacuum of space reaching for them both. Jack woke inside a small escape pod. The emergency lights cast everything in red. Reeves lay unconscious beside him, a cut on his forehead still bleeding. Jack had no memory of getting them into the pod. The small view screen showed the military ship breaking apart. Meridian vessels moved past, heading toward Earth. Dozens more appeared every minute. Jack checked the pod's systems. Communications were working. He sent a signal to the Vorkith asteroid. Krev's face appeared on screen. Jack, we saw the attack. The Meridians have arrived. They're heading for Earth. Reeves made a deal with them, but they never planned to keep it. Jack looked at the colonel. We need to stop them. How? Their fleet is massive. Jack remembered what Rav had told him. The Vorkith. What makes you special? Why do the Meridians fear you so much? Krev was silent for a moment. We can disrupt their hive mind. Our biology produces a frequency that breaks their connection to each other. That's it. Jack felt hope for the first time. If we could broadcast that frequency across the system ... Impossible. The range would need to be too great. Jack looked down at his changing body. What about me? I'm part human, part Vorkith. Could I amplify the signal somehow? Krev's eyes widened. Perhaps. But you would need to be at Earth's main communication array. It's the only transmitter powerful enough. Reeves groaned, regaining consciousness. He looked at Jack, then at the screen showing Krev. The MERIDINS ... double quotes, he mumbled. They betrayed you, Jack said. Now help me save what's left. Reeves stared at the fleet moving toward Earth. His face hardened. The main array is at Luna Base. I can get you there. The pod docked with a small Vorkith ship. Krev and 5 others had come to rescue Jack. Together with Reeves, they plotted a course for Earth's moon. The Meridians will detect us, one of the Vorkith warned. Not if we use their attack as cover, Reeves said. They're focused on Earth's defenses. They watched on screens as the first Meridian ships reached Earth. Planet's defense systems fired, destroying some alien vessels, but more kept coming. Cities burned as weapons struck the surface. We're too late, Jack whispered. No, Krev put a hand on his shoulder. We can still save many. Their ship slipped past the battle, reaching Luna Base as Earth burned above them. The base was in chaos, personnel trying to evacuate. Reeves used his authority to get them to the communication array. Technicians looked at the Vorkith with fear, but followed orders. What's the plan? Reeves asked as they reached the main transmitter. Krev explained while the other Vorkith connected equipment to Jack. He will channel our disruptive frequency. The array will broadcast it across the system. Will it hurt him? Reeves asked. Yes, Krev said simply. Jack sat in the transmitter chair. Wires connected him to the array. Do it. The Vorkith gathered around him, placing their hands on his skin. Jack felt energy flow through him. Pain followed, worse than anything he'd felt before. His body vibrated with the frequency only the Vorkith could produce. The technicians activated the array. Jack screamed as the energy surged through him and into the transmitter. His body was the conduit, a bridge between species. On screens around them, they watched as the Meridian ships suddenly stopped attacking. The alien vessels drifted, their coordination lost. Earth's defenses took advantage, destroying the confused ships. It's working, Reeves shouted. Jack could barely hear him. The pain was overwhelming. He felt his body changing faster now, cells tearing apart and reforming. Neither human nor Vorkith, but something new. The frequency broadcast for 10 minutes before the array overloaded. Jack collapsed, smoke rising from his skin. Krev caught him. Is it over? Jack asked weakly. For now, Krev said. The Meridians are retreating. Those that survived. Reeves looked at the screens showing the damaged Earth. We won this battle, but they'll be back. And we'll be ready, Jack said, standing with Krev's help. His body had stabilized in its new form. Not fully human, not fully Vorkith, something between. 1 month later, Jack stood before the new Earth Vorkith Defense Council. Reeves sat among the human representatives. Krev and Rev represented the Vorkith. The Meridians will return, Jack told them. But next time, we'll face them together. He looked out the window at Earth below. Cities were being rebuilt. Vorkith walked openly among humans now, allies instead of hunters and prey. Jack felt the hunger that would always be part of him now. But he also felt hope. Sometimes it took becoming part monster to defeat the real monsters. And sometimes the old aliens who never missed a meal were exactly what humanity needed to survive.